Let's get that. Okay, what is a soft drink? What is a stiff drink?
Stiff drink, mates, when you have a stiff alcoholic drink after a big day. And she's like, it's kind of like an erection. Kind of like an erection.
Amazing.
You got
Fantastic.
to,
Is that
you got to
it's just another word for a hard drink, and a hard drink is just alcoholic, right?
it's actually, this would be like a perfect podcast opening. My camera's not on though.
Yeah, crazy. I'm so glad I took record them. Your camera is on. What do you mean?
Filmmakers Uncut. No, I've got my fucking Sony here in case I have any like wisdom moments. I'm gonna have like a nice. It's gonna be like a YouTube video. It'll be like I might get one Instagram reel out of it. I'll be happy, and I get to
Filmmakers
chat to my mate.
Uncut. You know
I get to
what?
chat.
Let's just run with that as a title. That's epic.
What?
Because Filmmakers Uncut. That's like a nice title. Because I don't know. It's like I feel like we should just address a lot of things. But no bullshit.
It's a bit dark, so
Given
I'm cranking the ISO here. We gotta.
pumping
Do we
up.
need to crank? Do we need to crank the ISO on the webcam, or it's already cranked on?
You're right. We're good. We're chill. Right. So, what is it
Love.
on?
Yeah.
Are you
Live to
mic'd up?
live to my 74 biggest fan.
74. What? That's 73 more than me.
You know what? When I started posting content a month and a half ago, fuck, I would basically I actually was losing followers quicker than I was gaining them.
That's,
I
that's
think
the way, right?
I think I lost. I think I have a screenshot of it. I lost something like 26 followers in like 2 weeks. As
Is
when I
that
started
because, sorry, go.
Yeah, no, when I started posting, I lost like 26 followers in 2 weeks.
Is that
Um,
because you changed like your account to be less busy and more so Disney films?
yeah, I mean, I went from like, not posting anything for a few years to like, hey, I'll help you grow your cafe.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, that happens. If anything, like there's nothing lost. Maybe it's just some people that might have unfollowed it anyway within those few years. Saw the profile. Like, oh, I'm just not interested in this anymore. I'll unfollow.
Exactly. I didn't take it at all in a bad way because I just knew it's like, oh, well, that means at least people are seeing me pop up. All right, it's cleansing my audience, it's refreshing it. It's obviously part of the necessary thing. And now, what have I got? I think I had 320 followers, and now I'm like 370 in like a month and a half. So that's pretty great. 50 50 odd followers. Feel like a celebrity.
To go from to go from not growing at all to 50 in a month, right? That's really good. Like if you could fill a room with 50 people, pretty easy. That's 50
Like,
people that like your stuff and went, you know what? I'm gonna follow.
it's actually not even that good. I'll tell you the truth. Since this is filmmakers uncut and we don't bullshit here.
Yeah, bullshit.
Probably half of them were from me going into cafes and and then I'd be like, yo, let me do your socials, whatever. And they'd be like, do you have a card? And of course, I'm like, nah, I don't have a card. Here, follow my Instagram. So I would literally get their cafe to follow me on the spot. So now I've got cafes following me, and now that's going to help the algorithm because I want the cafes to find out about me, and it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, no, of
So
course. Like
I,
I'm in the
I
same
wouldn't.
boat.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not like actual real people. It's not like 50 people found me through the algorithm. Like I have not cracked content yet in the way of like branding myself that other people find out about it. It's still yet to have any virality, but hey, you got to start somewhere.
yeah, yeah. But you're those followers are still followers, and it's like a business. It's almost like a business transaction, but that's how Instagram is these days. It's mostly business. And then it's personal too. Like I work at the bar, like literally there. And when people come up to the bar, they're like, "So what do you do?" Well, I bring up the conversation of like, "Oh yeah, I like to make travel movies, travel short films, all these things." They're like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, cool, great, amazing. Here's my Instagram." And then they look at it and the shock they see, I kid you not, because they're just, to them, they're at a hostel, they're like at the bars. I'm just a bartender. And then I pull out my phone and show them, and they're like, this is so good. I'm like, thanks so much. Like, we appreciate it. And I'm not trying to like exaggerate how like my content is being amazing, but to see the facial reaction of holy shit, this is really good. And one person the other day was like, I hope you go far. When you get famous, remember me. That's so nice. Her name's Kitty, so I do remember. But um, yeah, there's nothing wrong with pulling out your phone face to face and going, "Hey, follow my Instagram," because that's just the way that things are. Like, if you're gaining followers in a face to face interaction, I think that follower will do more for you than someone who found you through the algorithm because they
Yeah,
know you.
probably. There's been a real life connection. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I've noticed that, like, since working at the bar, the engagement rate on my posts has gone from like, like 4 or 5 likes on a couple of posts. And that's after a whole year of posting. Like I'm up to I think real number 215 and 220. And if you even it out over the course of a year, that's like every second day I'm posting. It's slightly over on average. And it for so long I was just getting 4 or 5 likes. I'd be lucky if I got 10. And then I started working at the bar, face-to-face interactions, gaining these followers that are real people. And now I'm hitting 20 to 40 on every post. And so it's like people care. And I think that's way more effective than the algorithm follower that's like, oh, this is cool for that 5 seconds. I'll give him a follow and then just like every other post or something like that. Like it's um more meaningful, it's deeper, and that followers, now that they know you, they're going to be there for a longer time than someone who's from the algorithm, we call it words.
Do you reckon we'll miss these days? Because like I don't really care for getting famous or thousands of followers. Like I just want to build a network that can be my work. Like I want to make money, build my business, build my connections. It's just how it's done, right? Like I don't care about the vanity metrics. I want to have a business. I want to build something for myself. I've never had that before. Um, but now it's very quiet, right? There's not much going on, but where I want to go is like obviously people are hitting me up all the time. They're asking me to do videos. There's a lot of work coming in. And on one hand, it's like, yeah, that's what I want. But do you reckon we'll miss these days where it's almost like when you're only getting 4 likes, like I'm probably getting 4 likes on half my like there's a lot less pressure. It's just like whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
it's like we'll probably look back on this time and there'll be something bittersweet about it. Like I'm ready to grow. I'm not saying I want to stay in 200 view hell. Um, but
yeah, I think we would. I think we would because what I think and I know that we're gonna get there. We'll get, we'll grow, we'll do really well. What I know is going to happen is right now we can sit down and we could give someone an hour's worth of time, maybe 2 hours worth of time, like in your context. You'll probably sit down for a few hours over coffee and just talk about cool stuff, right? Like cafes, coffee, where does it come from? What do you do? What's this, that, the other thing? And then in my instance, like I'm working at the bar, it's just like, oh, so where are you from? What do you do? Like, what brings you to London? All that sort of thing. And I could stand there for ages. And then if someone wants to meet up, then I'll give them as much time as possible. But what will eventually happen will that whole conversation needs to happen within 5, 10 minutes. because we need to go to the next thing. And
Yeah.
it's difficult to create a deep and meaningful conversation in 5 or 10 minutes. And I think we'll miss the sit down, the let's get into the really deep connection. Uh, because
Mm.
the time is just going to be so scarce. But that's how it works. There's three currencies: the time, money, and then I think it's energy is the last one.
Energy, freedom.
Yeah, freedom. So yeah, when you've got money, you often comes time, and when you've got time, I say yeah, when you've got time. What am I trying to say there? If you've got money, you don't have time. If you have time, you probably don't have money. But use one currency to get the other.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I feel like a lot of my life up to this point, because like I've never had a business. I've never even actually had a full-time job. To be honest.
You're right.
I actually just a lot of my life growing up, I really just wanted my time not to build anything, just to take that time with people. Like I always had a lot of time for people and for myself to have those sit downs. And that was, I guess, an important part of my life, for better or worse. In some ways, I fell behind in terms of building my wealth and, say, the career ladder. But then, funnily enough, I found crypto and kind of just fast tracked and caught up a lot. Um, and then I lost a lot. I don't think I've told you my whole story with that, but yeah. But now it's like I've got to this point. I'm 31, and I'm like, nah, fuck. I want to do something a little different. I want to value my time a little differently. I still want to have, you know, like I still want to be able to take my time and have an hour conversation with you. I mean, yeah, sure, we're recording it or whatever, but I want to take that time with people that I'm more aligned with, I guess, on my goals. And that's like part of this whole content thing, part of like another reason why it's important for me, not just in terms of like establishing myself as a filmmaker and building a business, but it's to like put myself out there to find like-minded people that are also making content, that I'm also relating to them through that, connecting to them through that. And kind of like I just feel like I've been appreciating the value of like a digital tribe. Like I grew up playing a lot of computer games and stuff, and that's kind of like the primitive early level of it. Now this is like the advanced level. It's like building your social media, connecting with people based off the videos they put out and the messages they put out. Like I'm actually looking forward to that, because it just opens up kind of the whole world in a sense. um and yeah, something I found really cool in crypto. So like when I started it, like I knew nothing, and I found this group, and it was people from all over the world that was the same people jumping in this group every day, and it was like a family. But it was obviously a lot more sophisticated than when I used to do, video games where we're just, chatting shit. Now we're like trying to make money, and we're really like invested in this space. And it was it actually felt like one of the best communities I'd ever been in, and it wasn't even physical. And it just kind of opened my eyes up to like, oh, this is the next level of connecting. Not like it's just getting harder to find the right people in person. Um, so it's kind of like a bit of a shortcut if you can learn to navigate the social media world, which I've actively avoided for a lot of my life as well. I have not been, I'm just not someone who spends time on social media until I started posting recently. I just had no interest in it. I just couldn't get my head around it. And now I'm like got this whole new appreciation for it. Um, Not as like a doom scrolling, mind numbing thing, but kind of as a means to the end of connecting with the people I'm supposed to connect with.
How have you found that transition between crypto and gaming into filmmaking? and then into social media. I suppose in video games, everything is online. It's so easy to find those communities. Like I have a esports background as well. I've been playing video games my entire life. And then it got to the point where I was broadcasting and commentating, and so I know it's so easy to find like the online community, and that's where you live. Have you found um, connection in now filmmaking in a new industry through social media and then in person?
I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. I mean, the fact that we're friends, that's a start, even though we found each other through a paid community. I also really like that's the thing as well. The crypto community I joined was also a paid community. And I think there is a lot of value to that because when people actually put their money down to network, to talk to other people, like they're actually showing up with a totally different intention. Um, you can only afford so many paid communities. So it brings a different level of like, oh, we're serious about this one thing. Like we're both serious about filmmaking and, growing our own business and making something out of that.
Yeah, yeah. What does
So the
Michael say? People appreciate what they pay for, and I think the community, the fact that we're as much as we're paying for community and education and learning and doing all this sort of a thing, it's also you're right. It's the intent. Like when we see, oh my God, the background noise. When we see the opportunity for networking, I'm going to dive headfirst into that. We're going to appreciate it. We're going to nurture it. We're going to make sure that you know we establish friendships.
Yeah, it's friendships that are not really about convenience or like, how they start earlier in life. It's like just these are the people you go to school with. These are the people in your group. It's like, no, we are super passionate about this very specific thing.
Have you got friends now? Like they're all getting married. Like I'm 29, you're 31. Like have you got friends around us that are like, oh, we're getting married, and I got one friend who I used to live with, and he's got a kid now, and it's like, as much as I look at it and think, wow, that's great, like good on you. I also look at it as like, look at what we've got. We're our own filmmaking business. Like that's a thing. Like I'm traveling the world and I get to make movies. Like people genuinely reach out and they say, like, I wish I could do that. And it's so nice to be in that position, but it's also interesting to know that, these people that we grew up with
Hmm.
live very different lives now. And it's contextual to what we're doing at the time. As much as you can have a friendship from when you're a kid, going through the teen years, if it survives that, and then through to adulthood, like amazing. That's so good. But if you still have same interests by then, it's a very rare thing.
Yeah. Um, I don't have a lot of close connections from when I was younger, for better or worse. Um, I'm at peace with that because I feel like I've changed so much over my life. And it's kind of like every time I have like a rebirth, there might be a cycle of some friends, new interests come in, and then some will kind of remain over the years. But then it's like, I think a lot of my life has kind of been just kind of coasting along because I haven't had any sort of vehicle that I've felt this passionate about. I truly haven't. Like it's kind of just been a lot of fleeting things I've jumped between. I've like done a bunch of traveling, um, and just a bunch of just kind of living on my own clock. As I said, never worked a full-time job or anything. And so in a lot of way, and then yeah, people would be growing up, having kids and this and that. And I'm just like traveling around in my camper van, hoping crypto goes up, no plan for the future. And now 7 months ago, I bought my first camera and I was like, oh, this is all right. This feels good. Um, I feel like the one skill that translated was like the 10 years of making music, just on my computer perfecting these songs, but so in my head, so insecure about it that I never released anything. Um, and I thought that was kind of all for nothing, right? Um, and then when I started making videos, I felt like the same skills kind of translated, like probably mostly the skill of being able to like intently work on a computer on a creative project. I also learned the hard way from music for so many years. I had this like terrible problem of just obsessing over a single song for way too long, weeks, and then I still wouldn't be happy with it. And I've just got hundreds of songs that I never released, never was happy with. And so when I started making videos, I just like said to myself, like, I will not spend more than 1 day on a video. No fucking way. I'm not going to be this crazy perfectionist that does not release anything. I'm just gonna like, because the more you just do, the more you go start to finish, start to finish, start to finish, because there's all these steps in between that it's so easy to just like get lost in the comparison and oh, it's not good enough and let me tweak, and then you just never act, like you lose sense of like what you're actually trying to do. You're trying to like capture a moment or a story or an emotion, right? So something, I think like all those agonizing years of making music and then it just never going anywhere and me thinking it wasn't good enough. It's like I just like was determined to not make the same mistakes with video. And so I just had this like wait, just this really good work ethic when I started of just like I'm just going to finish a video every day. And I did that for like the first month, first 2 months. I just kept making videos every day and I just got like I just improved so quickly that I could just see the path forward. And then now I'm just, 6, 7 months later, I somehow believe I can, like blow up cafes on social media and whatever else. Like, and I still need to actually get some results to like prove to myself what I can do. I still feel like I haven't got any proof in the pudding yet.
Well, someone paid you, right?
I got my
Someone
first,
paid you.
yeah,
That's
last
like
week.
proof enough. That's proof enough right there. Like that's that self belief. The fact that you went from first camera to posting to self belief to getting your first paid gig in 7 months in an industry you've never been in before. Props to you, man. That's insane.
We'll take the win. We'll take the win.
Yeah, that's a big win. That's a big win. Because I think a lot of people they get stuck or they say, "Oh, I wish I could do that." It's like, yeah, you can. Like, um, what was it? It was while I was traveling Europe. Someone said, "Oh, I wish I could do what you're doing." And I went, "What's stopping you?" And they're like, "Oh, the job and this, and I don't know how to do it, and this, that, the other thing, and the usual." I want to say excuses because they are excuses. You can do whatever you want, unless like if you've got a wife and kids or a husband and kids, and you bought the house and you've done all that sort of thing. Like you've got to commit to your kids, but there's also opportunities there. There are ways that you could do these things in a healthy manner. And as much as you want to use, some people use money as an excuse. Like you can save. There are opportunities. But if you're young, you're like early 20s, late teens, whatever it is, you have so much time because you could fail for the next 10, 20 years. Have no idea what you do. I had a conversation about this with a friend last night. We were on the phone for 2 hours. She was like, "Oh, quite overwhelmed. Work's pretty stressful, and I don't know what I really want to be doing." She's a copywriter, and she's going, "Oh, AI is sort of taking over as well." And it's like, okay. I asked her like, "What is the biggest stress?" She goes, "Oh, what if I'm like go at work and she wants to work in London and she's got visa?" And I said, "You could fuck up for the next 10 years and still have a 65-year career in whatever it is that you find. like you have so much time, so much opportunity. And if you're so stressed about work, even if you got let go, wouldn't that be ideal? You get to move back in with your parents, you get to sort of have this time to readjust, you get to not pay rent, you get to try to find that sort of thing that you want to do what we're doing and just, buy a camera and start making videos. There's so many opportunities and there's so much time to change what you're doing. And if you're going, oh, I'm stuck in my industry or I'm stuck in a dead end job, like you can change it. You can change it. And it's way easier than what people think. Way easier. And I think a lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves or like they stack up these lists of things of like reasons why not, rather than reasons why they can. So to have the perspective of fuck it, let's just go and do it. That's where things really change. And if someone's listening to this and they go, I don't know how to do it, no one knows how to do it. Like shock horror, your manager has no idea what the fuck they're doing. Like they might have been in it for 10 years and a new problem comes along. They don't know how to solve that problem, right? Like they just sit there and they go, okay, what's the problem? What resource do we have? What resources do we have? What knowledge have I, applied before? They're going to make the best decision that they possibly can in that. And if it messes up, sure, it's on them and, they should be accountable. Maybe they've never solved that problem because you just make the decision, you just go and then you live with it. I think that's what we did as well. Despite, I hope not, but this may be the wrong choice for us. And at the very least, we know because we went ahead and we just did it. And the best thing that we could possibly do is just make the decision. Make sure that we are making the best decision for ourselves, the most informed with the information that we have, and all the self-awareness that we know that we want to do this. We just go in and we go, cool, we're doing this now. We go in, we do it, we learn, you adjust, you just keep going.
It feels better to just do. Like I don't know if you're an overthinker.
Very
I
much,
feel,
very much.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
also I will oscillate between periods of just overthinking in inaction and then periods of just go, go, go. Um, and God, I can be a menace when I'm in go, go, go mode. I can be a menace. I'm trying to like balance that side out because I actually notice when I'm feeling sometimes like so inspired and active, I almost like it's almost like my empathy can switch off. Like my it's always like I almost have like too much feelings sometimes, and then other times I like totally forget that and I'm just like a bit of a robot. Um and yeah, I don't know what balance is supposed to look like. I'm trying to figure that out now because I'm realizing this is a marathon, not a sprint. But yeah, something else. You reminded me of a conversation I had with my brother the other night, where he was talking about just not having enough time to do the things he wanted to do, and just the simple realization of like everything has a cost. Like it's not that you can't do something; it's just that you have to give something up. Like everybody has the same amount of hours in a day, but we all spend them differently. So if if there's something you can't do, it's not that you can't do it, you just can't do it with the way you're currently allocating your resources, your time, your money, whatever. So something has to give. If you want something, you have to give something else up, right? Like you can't like find time to exercise an hour a day if you don't give up an hour of binging Netflix on the couch or whatever it is that is preventing you. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't want to look at is the like when you honestly look at your time and how you're spending it, like you do have time. You can
Yeah,
find it. There is we all have those things that we just burn hours doing, and it's not necessarily our in pursuit of any goal. It's just like existing, or it's just numbing our brain, like whatever it is. So to like honestly look at yourself and where do I have that time? I think people struggle to do that. I know I do because sometimes we're like holding on to those things because they serve some sort of purpose, you know, they habits that like comfort us or help us get through the day. Those are usually the first things that have to be given up if we want to like change something. Like probably for me, probably like giving up like 3 to 4 hours of binging YouTube a day. I mean, I haven't watched Netflix for months. Like just to do all the stuff I'm doing with filming, I'm just like thinking, what have I given up? Um, I've given up drinking, like not intentionally. I just I haven't been going out. And if I am going out, I'm going to bed early. I'm not drinking. So because me at a different time in my life, I'm going out every night. I'm drinking all the time. And then I'm like exhausted the next day. And there's just no energy to do this stuff. Um, so yeah, if you want something, something else has to give. And for me, there's always like a battle period. There's always a period from when I decide I want something where I'm like struggling to give up the thing that is currently comforting me in my life. And then it's like the first period where you like don't have that anymore is the hardest because you're like trying to adapt to this new like schedule. Um, but then it just gets easier and better. Like I've had to have these like editing days because all the stuff I'm trying to do for this film business, like a lot of it's not creative, right? It's like reaching out to people and this and that. So I need to have like editing days where I literally like I wake up and I write down all the videos I'm gonna edit and I'm like on the computer for like 10 hours. And if I do that like 2 days a week, I feel like I'm on top of it. But I've been like putting that off. I've been putting off doing that. Um, but
Is that
kind of,
why is
I've
that? Is that because you're worried about reaching out to people and marketing and trying to land a job?
um, uh, I don't know. I think there's just some like maybe there was some discomfort around the idea of like really locking in for a full day to edit. But I also found that if I didn't lock in for a full day, I just wasn't getting enough done. Like just my brain kind of just worked better like that. So and now I've just started doing them. Like I've had two this week, and it's now just starting to become like rewarding in and of itself. Like I get to the end of the day and it's like I enjoy that flow state. Like the time really goes. And then I also get rewarded knowing, oh, I've finished all these edits, I've finished all these videos. Now I know I get to release them next week. I get to, you know, make all these people happy that I've made them for. I get to send them out to the world. And I think like that's the kind of feedback loop that I'm looking forward to more because I haven't like put out that many videos yet that I'm not like getting that feedback loop enough yet. There's like a lot of shit piling up on my hard drive, right? Like this festival video I just sent you, it's been on my hard drive for 4 months. Like I've put it off. And honestly, I should have done it 4 months ago because it is like it's absolutely the most valuable video I've ever filmed. It's for a 500 person festival. They have no good content at all. And I filmed for 3 days straight. And I mean, it only took me probably 3 full days of editing. Um, Only 3 days. I mean, that's a lot, but like,
I
why did it
watched
take me 4 months? Resistance, resistance, resistance. But now I've started to realize so many people are going to appreciate this video. All these people that went to this festival that are going to get to relive these memories, plus all the people that would love to go to it, and they literally just have no marketing. And just the fact that I was there, someone gave me a ticket to do it, and I just had my camera rolling for 3 days. Like I didn't even let myself like really enjoy the festival. Like I suffered for this video. And now I'm like, fuck, this is actually gonna people are gonna really appreciate this. But I put it off for
yeah,
so long.
you should post it. You should post it, but I get you, man. Like you, it's tough to. I don't say put yourself out there It's like we, as soon as you're in that mode of like, just fucking go, you just post, and you know, if you get a good response, amazing. If you get a bad response, that doesn't really matter. You just go to the next one. But to have, I think it's when we put. It sounds like it's a very emotional thing for you. This festival is like very meaningful, so you want to get it right. And I get you because I'm in the same boat with. I have like 900, maybe 1,000 photos of my like a month's worth of travel in Europe, and only recently have I started posting like some of the photos on Instagram. They've been sitting there since November. There's just so many, and I want to say they're really fucking good. Like I'm really proud of them, and the people that have seen the ones that I've posted say like, "Oh, that's brilliant." Like, my mum has even printed some out and gifted them to
Oh
friends,
yeah, yeah.
and now like a photo of a sunflower that's like part of my brand. I love sunflowers. Like I literally have it tattooed there. Um,
Oh,
this is like my photo is in someone's kitchen now, and all these people are like, yeah, love that photo.
that's
Like,
a great
oh,
feeling, isn't it?
like, oh, it is. But we hold back, I think, because it's so meaningful, and we become the artist. We become the artist of like, yeah, it's got to be right, it's got to be amazing, but it doesn't need to be. Like when we post what we think is good or good enough, or if it's never good enough, then that's slightly different. But when we post, just post, I think is what I'm trying to say, because you don't get to decide for the customer. Like it's a sales thing, and I think it's an artist thing. You don't get to decide how the viewer gets to feel,
Mm.
right? Like let's say a Monet piece of artwork, right, in a gallery. You, he painted that because of how he was feeling. How another person feels looking at it is not up to him. And it's the same with a film, right? Like if you've got an action adventure film, one person might be like, "Oh, this is intense," and someone else might feel really sad. Or, you watch Interstellar, and some people love like the it's almost like a moving gallery, and someone else might feel very deep and meaningful about the message about connecting with family and being distant and all that sort of a thing. Like we don't get to decide. And so whenever you just post, you just tell a story and you let people feel something. Whatever that thing is, that's up to them. It's not up to us as artists.
It's funny how we do this, right? We go through this whole emotional journey with a piece of art, and then we hoard it to ourselves and we lock it away. And
Yeah.
then it just falls into the abyss of our minds. And then like I almost start to like lose appreciation for what I've created. And then I'll finally share it to someone and they love it. And I'm like, the fuck, what happened? Like this whole process of like you make something and then you're the one that made it and you look at it and then you look at it so much that it starts to take on a new meaning and you forget that this is for like this is for someone that's going to see it